nonverbal miscommunication in business. That's Michael, this is Allison, this is London, and I'm Isaac. So our first topic would be verbal miscommunication, which is anything has to do with talking. Our first one would be narrow viewpoints. So a narrow viewpoint is basically when you have a general idea and you feel like that idea is the only idea and you don't take into consideration everyone else's opinions. That can cause miscommunication because you will be very stubborn and set on what is and what isn't, and you won't basically acknowledge anyone else's opinions.
So I'm going to talk about another form of miscommunication, which is missed phone call with no response. So a missed phone call can be another form of miscommunication, but it can be interpreted in like two ways. So the first one is if, for example, the person that you're trying to call didn't really have his phone on him when you were calling him. And another one is the one that is like volunteer, when you see a call and you don't pick the call knowing that you don't really want to talk to this person. So that's another form of miscommunication.
In this, I talk about assumption as another form of miscommunication. So assumption are belief or idea that people hold without verifying the accuracy of the information. So, and I try to sum up some of the causes and how to avoid miscommunication and to promote clear communication. And it's important to actively listen to, like paying attention to what the speaker is talking to you. So you should pay attention and ask some question. Yeah, it's another way of promoting effective communication, or also verifying understanding. Involve like restarting like what has been said to confirm if it has been understood correctly.
Alright, so another important form of verbal communication that can lead to miscommunication is your word choices, because different words can mean very different things to different people, but just by saying the same thing they could get a completely different idea of what you're trying to get across. And there's a lot of different industry-specific language, like legal and tech industries, that have specific jargon, acronyms, buzzwords that no one else knows what they're talking about, but they know because they are used to communicate quickly and efficiently within their industry, but it is also used to isolate other people that are outside. And in order to communicate more effectively by using your word choice, you should always keep in mind the recipient and your audience when you're creating the message, so you know what words they'll understand, and so you can use appropriate words that everyone will get the same message.
So our second topic would be nonverbal miscommunication. And for our first form, we have cross-culture touch and gestures. And what this basically talks about is that in different cultures or any part of the world, not every gesture that we have here will mean the same over there. So for example, in Brazil and Germany and Greece, giving the OK symbol is actually a form of vulgar and offensive language. And giving a thumbs up in the Middle East is also considered offensive, whereas over here, it's like a good job or fantastic, anything complimenting.
Okay, as Isaac said, he talked about gestures, and I'm going to talk about eye contact. Eye contact is also a form of non-verbal miscommunication. It can be interpreted according to the audience and according to the speaker. So you should really watch your eye contact, because depending on the culture and on the person, eye contact is something that can be really interpreted in a different way and can lead to miscommunication.
Yeah, another way of non-verbal miscommunication is posture. So in this section, like how the use of body language, specifically posture, can impact communication in a business setting. So posture is a non-verbal communication that can convey confidence and authority and interest, that can also be misinterpreted, leading to confusion and misunderstanding. So as you can see, there is a like image, and well, one of them is a closed posture and can indicate hospitality and like anxiety, and the other one as an open posture may indicate friendliness and willingness. So these are two different kind of posture.
Alright, so lots of nonverbal cues that audiences give back. One of the most common ones that people can recognize are your facial expressions. And if there's discrepancies between your verbal and your nonverbal in this area, that can lead to a lot of miscommunication in the message. We convey a lot of additional details about what we're talking about through how we have our facial expressions and our body language and everything. But when they don't match, it can confuse your audience because they don't know how they should actually be taking the message. One of these would be smiling, which is a very worldwide symbol of happiness and openness, and can be translated even when you don't know the same language. But if your facial expressions are not matching, like if you're smiling and you're saying something very sad or it's very mean, it's very confusing. Or if you're saying something very happy in a yelling tone, it can also make your audience confused and lead to miscommunication.
Okay, so once again, our two subjects were verbal miscommunication and nonverbal miscommunication. For verbal, we had narrow viewpoints, which is any kind of narrowed down opinion where you refuse to see the bigger picture. Missed phone calls with no responses, which is basically when you give a call and there's no availability and you don't leave any kind of message. Assumptions is almost like narrow viewpoints where you just assume each point without regarding anyone else. Word choice, which is the series of words you use that could come across negatively. And for our other topic, we had the nonverbal miscommunication, which consisted of cross-culture touch and gestures, like giving the OK sign is vulgar in Brazil and Germany, stuff like that. Eye contact, which follows in the gestures, because eye contact can't always be a good thing in different cultures. Posture, the way you sit or stand could tell your listener whether or not you're actually intrigued or care about the conversation. And facial expressions and discrepancies, so showing any kind of face that doesn't correlate to the communication could come across negatively.